In the early days of ancient Egypt, the government operated as a theocratic monarchy, where the king served as a divine intermediary and implemented laws based on the god's will. This system was established around 3150 BCE, when King Narmer united the country. While the specifics of the government during the pre-dynastic period remain unclear, there was undoubtedly a form of monarchical rule. Modern Egyptologists have divided the country's history into periods, categorizing those with a strong central government as kingdoms and those with disunity as intermediate periods. The ancient Egyptians, however, did not recognize such divisions. The government structure, with variations, endured from around 3150 BCE until 30 BCE, when Rome annexed Egypt. During the early dynastic period and Old Kingdom, rulers were referred to as kings until the New Kingdom, when the term pharaoh emerged. Narmer, also known as Menes, played a pivotal role in establishing a central government through military means. The economy relied on agriculture, utilizing a barter system. Peasants farmed the land, providing produce to noble landowners who, in turn, contributed to the government's trade or distribution efforts. Hor-Aha, Narmer's successor, introduced the Shemsu Hor, a practice where the king and his entourage toured the country to showcase the ruler's presence and authority to the subjects. This government structure persisted with minor changes until Rome's annexation in 30 BCE. The Shemsu Hor, better known as the Egyptian cattle count, played a crucial role in the government's assessment of individual wealth and taxation. Each district or nome had a hierarchical structure, with a nomarch overseeing the overall operation of the nome, assisted by lesser provincial officials and town mayors. To ensure accurate reporting of wealth, the king and his court personally assessed each nomarch during the annual Shemsu Hor event, providing Egyptologists with valuable information for dating reigns. Following the assessment, tax collectors would collect a share of produce from each nome, province, and town, contributing to the central government's wealth. This system enabled substantial building projects during the Third Dynasty and continued throughout the Old Kingdom, leading to the construction of monumental structures such as the Step Pyramid of King Djoser and the Pyramids of Giza. In this well-organized government, the vizier held significant influence as the king's representative, managing the bureaucracy and delegating responsibilities. However, toward the end of the Old Kingdom, the viziers became less vigilant, allowing the rise of priests, nomarchs, and provincial governors who amassed wealth and power through massive building projects. This shift in power dynamics, combined with other factors, contributed to the collapse of the Old Kingdom. The subsequent First Intermediate period saw ineffective kings ruling from Memphis, while nomarchs gained autonomy, collecting taxes, building temples, and commissioning tombs. Their growing power led to a decline in central government authority. The emergence of an overlord named Intef-I at Thebes fueled rebellion against the kings of Memphis, ultimately resulting in Mentuhotep II's victory over the kings of Heracleopolis around 2040 BCE, marking the beginning of the Middle Kingdom. Mentuhotep II maintained the administrative structure of the Old Kingdom, including the duplication of agencies for Upper and Lower Egypt. His successor, Amenemhat I, moved the capital to Iti-Taui near Lisht, continuing policies that enriched the government and allowed for building projects. Amenemhat I also established the first standing army directly under the king's control, reducing the power of nomarchs and promoting national unity. Amenemhat I's successor, Senusret I, continued the policies of his predecessor, further enriching Egypt through trade. He initiated the construction of the Karnak Temple, one of the greatest structures in Egyptian religion. The government funded such colossal projects through taxation, collecting a share of farm produce from each district. This tax revenue fueled the treasury, supporting workshops for secondary product manufacturing and trade. The Middle Kingdom marked a cooperative era between the king and nomarchs. Egyptian art during this period reflected regional tastes and styles, showcasing a greater diversity than the rigid court-approved expressions of the Old Kingdom. Under Senusret III, however, the power of nomarchs decreased, and the nomes were reorganized. The 12th dynasty epitomized the Golden Age, characterized by robust economic growth, cultural achievements, and a strong central government. In contrast, the 13th dynasty witnessed a decline as regional governors regained power, priests accumulated wealth, and the central government faltered. In Avaris, a Semitic people known as the Hyksos settled and gradually asserted their autonomy. This marked the end of the Middle Kingdom and the beginning of the Second Intermediate period. During the Hyksos rule, contrary to later Egyptian characterization, the Hyksos adopted Egyptian culture, dressing like Egyptians, worshipping their gods, and incorporating Egyptian government elements. The central Egyptian government at Ichtawi, near Lisht, lost control over Lower Egypt, abandoning it to the Hyksos. Simultaneously, the Kushites advanced in the south, reclaiming lands lost under Senusret III. Around 1580 BCE, Seqenenre and his successors, Kamose and Amos I, led a successful rebellion against the Hyksos, driving them out of Egypt. This victory marked the beginning of the New Kingdom, a well-documented era in Egyptian history. Under Amos I, the government underwent reforms, establishing a hierarchy from the pharaoh to the vizier, royal treasurer, military general, overseers, and scribes. The New Kingdom also witnessed the institutionalization of the police force, initially comprised of Medjay, Nubian warriors who had fought alongside Amos I. The police maintained domestic peace, guarded temples, monitored borders, and oversaw various locations. Amenhotep I expanded Egypt's borders and established buffer zones to ensure the country's security. His successors, particularly Thutmose III, transformed Egypt into a formidable empire, extending from Syria to Libya and down through Nubia. Amenhotep III's reign saw Egypt as a vast empire with diplomatic and trade agreements with other nations. This prosperous era allowed Amenhotep III to focus on building monuments, contributing to the grandeur of the new kingdom. Akhenaten, the son of Amenhotep III, undertook religious reforms that had far-reaching consequences for Egypt. In an effort to diminish the political power of the priests of Amun, Akhenaten banned all religious cults except for the worship of his personal god, Aten. He closed temples across the country and relocated the capital from Thebes to Akhetaten, a city he built in the Amarna region. Akhenaten's monotheistic beliefs disrupted the traditional religious practices that had long legitimized the pharaoh's authority. The pharaoh's role was intricately tied to adherence to the will of the gods, and temples served as multifaceted institutions integral to Egyptian society. By shutting them down, Akhenaten brought the momentum of the new kingdom to a standstill. While he commissioned new temples dedicated to Aten, the neglect of state affairs and a shift away from traditional practices had a profound impact. Tutankhamun, Akhenaten's successor, reversed these policies, reopening temples and returning the capital to Thebes. However, his reign was cut short, and it was left to Horemheb to complete the restoration process. Horemheb worked to erase evidence of Akhenaten's existence and restore Egypt's social standing with other nations. He improved the economy and reconstructed the temples that had been destroyed, yet the country never fully recovered its former glory under Amenhotep III. The New Kingdom government, initially established at Thebes, saw a significant shift when Ramses II relocated it to Pur-Ramses, a new city on the site of ancient Avaris. The reasons for this move remain unclear, but it allowed the priests of Amun at Thebes to amass power. The priests rivaled the pharaoh, contributing to the decline of the New Kingdom. Eventually, high priests in Thebes ruled while the last pharaoh struggled to maintain control from Pur-Ramses. The New Kingdom's decline led to the Third Intermediate Period, marked by internal divisions and civil wars. Assyrian invasions in 671 and 666 BCE, followed by Persian conquest in 525 BCE, further weakened Egypt. Alexander the Great claimed Egypt in 331 BCE and established the Ptolemaic dynasty, which endured until 30 BCE. The Ptolemies admired Egyptian culture but faced challenges, and the dynasty's decline culminated with Cleopatra VII's rule. After Cleopatra's death, Egypt fell under Roman rule in 30 BCE, marking the end of its ancient history. The enduring monarchical theocracy of Egypt spanned an awe-inspiring 3,000 years, crafting and upholding one of the world's most magnificent ancient cultures. The echoes of Egypt's stability in the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms reverberate through time, as these eras with strong central governance provided the fertile ground for the blooming of art and culture. In the epochs of the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, Egypt gifted the world with ingenious devices, artifacts, and practices that continue to shape the modern day. Amidst the papyrus reeds, the Egyptians birthed the concept of paper and the vibrant hues of colored ink. Their mastery of the written word transcended, introducing advanced writing techniques. The Egyptians adorned themselves with cosmetics, unveiling a world of beauty rituals, and were the trailblazers in oral hygiene, fashioning the first toothbrushes, toothpaste, and breath mints. In the realm of medicine, the ancient Egyptians were pioneers, mending broken bones and delving into surgical practices. Their ingenuity stretched into timekeeping with water clocks and calendars, with their groundbreaking 365-day calendar still in use today. Brewing beer became an art form, an elixir of celebration, while agricultural strides like the ox-drawn plow heralded progress in farming. Even the quirky yet regal practice of donning wigs became a cultural hallmark. The ascent of each king and later pharaoh commenced with a sacred oath to Maat, the goddess of truth, embodying universal harmony and balance, fundamental to Egyptian culture. This ritualistic presentation of Maat to the diverse gods of the pantheon symbolized the ruler's commitment to upholding harmony during their reign. The divine pact between the government and their gods resided in the concept of Maat, fostering an environment that fueled creativity and innovation among the people. Through centuries of unwavering commitment to the divine bargain, the government of ancient Egypt laid the foundations for the majestic civilization that stands as a testament to human achievement and resilience.